But no, congratulations on getting over $1 million. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really
How
couldn't
does
have
it
done
feel?
all the support. You know, um, I've been thinking about my answer to that question for a while. I really haven't let it sink in. As far as I'm concerned, I can just breathe. I don't have to just go psycho, balls to wall every day, trying to look for the next opportunity. I feel like I can take a step back and relax with trading.
So this was your whole goal, just to get over $1 million.
Yeah, prove that like it's real.
If you were at 900,000, it wouldn't be real.
I mean, okay, good point.
Now I understand. Listen, this is why we call it the Millionaire Challenge. It's good to dream big. It's good to put like this seemingly impossible goal out there, because then it drives you every day to accomplish it. You accomplished it. There's still more to do. I mean, Matt's doing this whole Zoom call, and Matt just passed a million. How did it feel when you passed a million, Matt?
I actually like Jack's answer because that's like how it felt for me. I did a webinar for this trading challenge students yesterday, and like that's how I described it. It was just like this, like almost like sense of like relief. Like you're like, I made it. Because like, I mean, you join the challenge, the goal is $1 million. Like that's kind of all you think about for like years. Like in Jack's 4 years you've been in the challenge, right? I believe roughly. Yeah, like same for me. This is like my fourth year now, and like so like for 4 years, like I was just thinking like I want to get $2 million, and then I did it, and I was like, whoa, like we're like over it. Like
It's
there's another
done. See
side
you
of
guys
this.
later. Good to meet you. No, I mean, even if you make $1, you're still beating the 90% plus of traders who lose. Like, it's not even just making a million, but there is a process. The reason why I teach is because I don't want you just to make $1. The dollar doesn't buy much. Frankly, even $1 million, after taxes isn't the end of the world. But you guys are young, you're on the right track. That's the whole point, right? Like, if you can make 100,000, if you can make 500,000, if you can make a million, you're doing something right. You're on the right track. We're all benefiting from this crazy bubble. I don't know how long it lasts, but I'm just taking it day by day, trade by trade. I mean, Jack, what were you at like a year ago?
Oh man, that's so after like I call it my like first real blow up. Pretty much ruined my whole senior year in college, and then by the time I was dabbling back into the market with only like $14,000,
What was your size of your blow up?
from like 80,000, built it from like 70 to, to 80, and I just kept beating myself every day, and horrible lessons to
You
learn.
lost $80,000
More like 60.
in how long of a time period?
About 6 months, 7 months.
And you were just like getting up depressed every day. You're like, this is
Oh yeah.
going the wrong way.
Oh yeah, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's like, yeah, we blow up $2,000 accounts, but like the real blow up is like what you describe in your book exactly. Like keeps you up at night staring at the ceiling. You're like, oh God, what punishment am I in for tomorrow?
What did you do wrong? What caused that major downfall?
I ignored just blatant bullish factors like massive overcrowdedness with major liquidity and range. I mean, that's screaming for like a short squeeze where it's like easy to borrow. Everybody's piling on top of it, and algos say nope, nope, and then pops up, and you're like, oh shit, what's going on here?
So you're just shorting and shorting and shorting and getting squeezed on every play.
Well, my problem is that I was always looking for the fade because I love faders. But at some point, it's the stock's not going to fade. There's no point just keep hammering it down, right? So I'm just chopping myself up, and I'm like, okay, maybe this crack is it. And like, what are you doing, man? It gets to 3 o'clock when the market closes for me, and I'm like, what did I do to myself? Like, it's amazing how emotions can just drive you crazy and blind you.
I mean, trading is all about controlling those emotions and staying disciplined. How did you come back from that dark period? This was how long ago? 2 years ago
Uh,
or a year ago?
about May 2019 is when it all like really began going down for me.
Okay,
Mhm.
so close to 2 years. We're filming this in February 2021. How did you recover? How did you get back?
It's one of those things. I told myself all I have to do is just size down and get my process back, but I was so blinded wanting everything back that I wasn't willing to go through like the baby steps again, which I mean, it's so foolish and so childish, I know, but that was that. And then on top of that, if you're really in a bad place, there's nothing time won't heal.
So time healed it, and then this kind of crazy bubble market, and you got back shorting. I mean, I see like your biggest gains are shorts. Although I am proud that you banked on KOSS on that long.
Oh yeah, that, that
You're
was
not
pretty
fully
good.
on the dark side yet.
I'm like, I've literally seen this squeeze a million times. I sometimes it just comes down to one candle. I'm like, oh, I know that move.
Let's go back to the beginning. How did you first start? Because I want everyone to understand, most people are not at a million. Most people don't even have the luxury of being able to lose 60, 70, 80,000. Like, what did you start with?
$2,000.
And how did you grow that? I mean, your first DM to me, you're like, I have 30 minutes free. I'm on vacation. We're going to include that screenshot because it's just too classic. Why did you took a screenshot of yourself, but it's like blurry? Why did you think I needed to like see your blurry face?
I think it was like really early in the morning, and I'm like, hey, I got 30 minutes before I hit the breakfast.
But why didn't you take like a decent photo? Like I can't even make you out. Like it looks like a serial killer type photo. Like I'm looking at that photo you sent me. Like why would you send me that photo? You can see the photo before you send it.
No comment. I'm gonna stick with that photo and
Damn. So you thought you could learn everything in 30 minutes,
yeah, more like 30,000 plus.
right? Right. And then it took you. So from that DM, I don't even know if I saw it. Literally, I'm just looking back through the history. Did I respond?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, it took you like another year and a half to join the challenge. So I'm guessing I didn't. I get too many DMs. I'm sorry. And even if I had, a blurry photo of yourself in the morning, that's not gonna like be like, hey, let me talk to this student. Like this is who I want to help.
Yeah, no
What did
apologies.
you do? What did you do between that photo and joining the challenge in 2017?
So it was really just getting the capital to like start off with like a penny stocking silver subscription, which I did, and this was my smartest move. Senior year of high school, when everybody has senioritis, we don't realize how much time we have on our hands. And as life goes on, we're only going to be more crowded with like chores to do, a to-do list. So I really took advantage of that time and just studied every video lesson. At one point, I was skipping like all my lacrosse practices to go to the library and study.
Nice.
And yeah, and then by the time summer rolled around and I was going off to college, I was like, man, everybody's going to these grad parties, but I could use this time to like study more. So I would just wake up, study, trade the open, study midday, and then afternoon I would finish up the trading day, then study more until nighttime. And then when it was about like 10 o'clock, I'd be like, man, my back's killing from sitting all day. So I'd take my laptop and lie on the ground and just study a little more until I wound up asleep and then stumble over to my bed and redo it.
Did you do that too, Matt? Was that like your senior year of high school?
No, I discovered you roughly around then, but I didn't join. I joined Penny Stocking Silver before I joined the challenge, and that was like my freshman year of college.
Okay.
But
Did you
yeah,
did you study a lot and like ditch out on parties, or were you a party animal? Because I think
no,
that you're a party animal, just knowing what I know about you.
not a party animal. See, it all comes out now because like I didn't party when I was younger, right? So
It makes sense.
yeah, no. After I joined the challenge April 2017, which was like basically the end of my second semester, my freshman year of college, and I had an internship lined up with one of my friend's parents. They like hooked me up because I was going to be a software engineer. That's what I was studying. And then like 2 weeks before it started, I like joined the challenge and I was like, nope, sorry, quit the internship. Like didn't even show up. And like that summer, like all I did was study the challenge. And that's like how I started.
Damn. So I'm basically taking internships, lacrosse practices, life away from everyone, and you start realizing, wait a minute, there's a lot of stuff to study. You guys joined the challenge pretty much around the same time.
Pretty close, sounds like, yeah.
Have you guys ever talked before or no?
Maybe in passing, but never like face to face. This is our first time.
Oh yeah. This is my first time like talking with anybody, like just digital.
No, it's cool. We want to get this story out there. So you're studying, you're laying on the ground because your back is hurting because of studying so much. This is what, 2017, 2018?
Hmm. Yeah, it was around there, and I realized that like I had this cycle where it was like I would always make money during like the hot sectors, but then when the market began getting quiet again, I would just slowly bleed myself out. And this is when I was just purely long at the time. And I mean, that's when I realized that like to build my long account, all I have to do is just really show up for the hot sectors when they're coming, because that's when like every dip just holds and just keeps going higher.
And this is a good point that I want people to understand. Like part of the reason why like I look so tired is because I'm pushing it to the max. Matt's pushing it to the max. We're all pushing it to the max right now during this hot market. We don't know how long it lasts. And like you said, this is where, you know, frankly, you can grow your account during the slow periods. People don't recognize the difference, right? Like people don't study the past. They don't know slow versus fast. They're just trading all the time. If you just trade random patterns all the time, you're going to get random results. So this is the time to really push it. That's why I'm so proud of both of you guys for you know, really pushing it and understanding that. But you need to get to that point of understanding what is a hot sector, how do you trade that hot sector, and then how to have patience. Because we will have lives again, trust me, when, or I'm praying that we will, when the market slows down. You know, like I don't want to scare everyone away, like be like, oh, it's just studying nonstop, and then you wake up in the middle of the night because you're having nightmares because there's so many plays. Like it doesn't sound like fun. Like there are better ways to make, you know, money than doing this mentally fatiguing, frustrating, you know, pursuit. I mean, you seem rather you know, even keeled. Like you don't seem like you're burnt out yet. What's the secret, Jack?
You know, you love what you do. I mean, there are so many worse places I could be right now, and I'm just blessed to like have every opportunity that I have available.
But while you were studying, you know, I like that vision of you when your back starts hurting and you're just like, you know, on the ground studying still. You're like, I'm not going to give up. What was your account during this time period? This is 2017, 2018, 2019. How big was your account?
So starting with only a couple thousand, I mean, pretty much bled it down to like 400 at one point, and that's when I actually like nailed DFFN overnight. Like it was the big spike that I had where it went to like 15 at one time.
You
And
nailed it on the long side.
this is back in like this is,
No,
like,
congratulations. We got to bring up every long because I know that you're a short seller now, and you know every long must be celebrated to try to save your soul from the dark side.
and like that's what like but that one trade where I made like $700 on a $400 position, it showed me the potential, and like just seeing that potential, that's what just kept me going and kept me focused. And the money or the account size didn't matter, because I knew that if I could figure out how to capture that potential on like repeat, then you can build your account to, I mean, sky's really the limit.
I agree. Matt, did you have any trade like that where you had one eye-opening trade where you're like, there's a lot more upside here?
I think the first time I made $1,000, I can't remember the ticker, but I can remember how the trade happened. My account was probably around like 6,000 at this time. And it was just like some low float, like morning spiker with news. And I bought it. And then like 5 minutes later, it halts up. And then I'm sitting in the trading halt. And then I'm like, should I sell? And I'm like, no, let's see what happens. And then it halts up again. And I ended up making like 70, 80%. But that was the first time I ever made $1,000 on a trade. And I was like, holy crap, like this is wild.
When it skips up, I mean, this is what a lot of people are seeing now in 2021 when they ride one of these supernovas. I mean, just on Friday, I was buying SWRM in the ones and selling it in the twos, and then buying in the twos, selling in the threes, and it goes to the fours. And once you start to realize, like, wait a minute, when you latch onto a runner, it doesn't matter if you make 100, 500, 1,000. I mean, my big wake up call was on ISCO back in the year 2000, where I made 100 grand in a day as a college freshman. And I'm just like mind blown. And then the next day, you know, would have been 200 grand, but I don't care. I have the 100 grand. Like once you start to see how far these things can go, it should make you scared to short sell them. Jack, are you scared of short selling?
Absolutely. I have completely refined my like process. I'm like, okay, there are certain very specific indicators now, and if they're not met, I'm either sized down to like 1/10 or I'm just not even dealing with it.
Because I don't want to do a video follow-up and be like, hey, how my newest millionaire student just lost $1 million in one trade when he got undisciplined because he's chugging too many Red Bulls and ignoring, you know, rules and discipline and safety. It can go crazy like that. And this is what I want people to understand. Like when you make, what'd you say? You made $700 on a $400 position?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. That is why, like, people message me like, how do I trade when I start small? You try to find the supernovas. You can do it with 400. You can do it with 4,000. You can do it with 40,000. You can do it with 400,000. Any of these small amounts that Wall Street doesn't care about, you try to find a supernova and you try to ride it as best you can. But on the other side, short selling, if you're short selling with, let's say, $100,000 position, it can easily be a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 loss. Have you had any big losses like that, Jack?
Oh yeah, certainly.
What's your biggest loss so far?
Biggest loss, it was 80,000 on OCGN, and this is why it's such.
You were shorting OCGN?
This is why it's such a horrible the big spike into it. So I mean, yeah, it mitigates the risk, but like, does it really? But the actual losses really came from the chop, the same problem that I had when I originally hurt myself. And I mean, when I break my own rules like that, I take it to heart, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like I'm gonna put myself in the same position, and that's why I have my girlfriend. Like, I put this message where it's like, if I'm doing something stupid and I'm out of line, she'll just like send it to me, and like it'll remind me when I'm in like a more stable time, like how I should be acting.
Wait, so you tell her, you're like, send me this message when I'm acting dumb?
Well, if I text her and I'm like really upset with myself, she'll just forward me the message, and I'm
She
like,
knows this is like your like secret thing. Do you have that too, Matt, with your girlfriend?
I don't, but that's awesome. Might need to set something up.
I think you probably should. Behind every great man is a great woman. There's a quote like that somewhere. I mean, we really can destroy ourselves with a lack of discipline, and we need to be reminded of the rules, because trading, all three of us have achieved very, high levels of success at such young ages, but it can disappear so quickly. I mean, Jack, when you were shorting OCGN, I mean, that thing went from like low single digits to, what was the high? I don't even remember.
like 17, 18.
Were you riding it short the whole time?
That I am phenomenal at that. I will never go for a crazy ride.
Okay, good.
I will chop myself out. I'll hurt myself and piss myself off, but I will never let myself get in a position where I just add, and go for a crazy ride.
Good. Okay. So I'm less worried. An $80,000 loss is still too much.
Yeah,
you got to watch out on that size there. Maybe adjust the text message that your girlfriend is supposed to send you. Be like, let's change this to all caps or something. I don't know. What's the message? I'm just curious.
I don't even know. It was she used to send it to me, and I was like, wow, that's really good advice. Thanks for sending me that.
And she hasn't sent it to you in a while, obviously. So apparently you haven't needed it.
Yeah. But like, I forgot, like, I'm like, how'd you learn that? That's genius.
What does she think? What do your like friends and family think about all of this?
They think it's really cool. I've actually gotten an amazing amount of support, and like people that are like, good job. I love to see people succeed. I'm like, oh, thank you. I was worried about kind of being looked at badly.
Did you face any resistance in the beginning? Like, were your family like, Tim Sykes is a scam,
yeah.
penny stocks are a scam?
Absolutely. Everybody just is hating on it. And they're like,
why do you think that is? Why do you think there's so much hate? Is it because most penny stocks fail, and because like most people who teach online are scammers? Is that it? Is it just like, am I just lumped in and penny stocks are lumped into that?
I think it has something to do with the fact that like we sit behind a computer screen, especially when we're starting out, and we're not making money because there is such a big learning curve to overcome. I mean, just to find like consistent profitability, it was a few years for me. I mean, that's a long time of like no real achievement to like have something to show for all the time I put in. So it's like somebody will ask me to get coffee in the morning, and I'll say, I'm sorry, I'm working. And my sister would be like, what job? Like,
yeah, I mean, what gives you like the confidence to stick through it? Like, everyone faces resistance, but what both of you, this question goes out to, what gave you the confidence after like year one, you're putting in all this time and effort, a job pays money, this hasn't paid you anything. What gives you the confidence to keep going?
Matt, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So my time frame on this, like, people always want it like this month, like next month, maybe even within a year. And while that's possible for some people, like most people, it's not, because the learning curve, like Jack said, is super long. It took me essentially 3 years before I was like profiting anything really. So my time frame was always like, I was looking like 5 years down the road, because the time I started, can't remember how old I was. I was pretty young, but I was like, if I figured this out in 5 years, I'm still way ahead of most people. Like I didn't want it to take 5 years, but like, I was like, it's okay. Like, and during those dark times, like year 2, when I'm like still losing money, I'm like, but we're learning. So like, we're getting somewhere here. So that's kind of what kept me through it, because I knew eventually like there would be a time I'd figure this out, and those losses of like $50, $100, like one day the gains would just be so much larger than those losses that at the time, even though they hurt, I was seeing people like Roland. That was like the time frame I started, 2017, when Roland was taking off, and I was seeing his gains, and I was like, it's clearly possible. So I used it as inspiration rather than to deter me away from the market. And that's something I see a lot right now, is a lot of people like, they're like, oh, the hot market's gonna be over, which it might be, but like I missed 4, 5, 6 hot sectors, like profiting on them. Like I learned from them, which is the key, and that's what everyone should be doing. But like profitability wise, like I just didn't make money during those hot sectors, and now it's the big reason why I'm making money. So just like use it, like try to stay inspired, find out what inspires you, and like stick with it as long as you can.
I mean, I'm inspired by your $400,000 week, last week, like, that pays off a lot of missed time and a lot of missed opportunity and a lot of small losses. Like that's what people need to understand. This is why, like, some people are like, oh, Tim, why do you push everyone to talk about their trades so openly? Because you need to see how this works. You need to see that there's going to be a grind 6, 12, 18, 24 months. And then, frankly, we're all benefiting, like I said, from this hot market. So, what if you don't get a hot market like 4 years into the challenge like you guys are getting? What if it had been, 10 years? Would you have continued to make nothing for 5, 6, 7 years? Like, okay, you have your friends and your family being like, get a job. Like, I don't think most people would last, but that's the reality of this. And if you think of this as a marathon, any 1 year doesn't matter. And you think, okay, like, let me just get as much education. Let me get as prepared as possible. And I make the comparison. It's like training for the Olympics. The Olympics comes around once every 4 years, or at least when it's not canceled. And people are training literally for years, if not decades, for that one opportunity for like Olympic gold. And with trading, I mean, this is a little different. Like, it's not just one, event. You have the knowledge too. So like, Olympians, frankly, it kind of stinks because they have that one event. If they screw up, like their career is over, then they literally have wasted like a decade, but maybe they like the training, whatever. With trading, I mean, you're always going to have that knowledge. You never go backwards in knowledge. And all it takes is being there for a hot sector or a hot player or a hot market. What do you think, Jack?
Can you repeat the question?
What kept you going year 1, year 2? When did you really start making money? Not until like year 3.
Oh yeah, like what kept me going? The confidence. I mean, it was seeing other people doing it, and that's what like helps you see the potential. That's why I always
You're like, why not me? Like you saw Jack Kellogg and you're like, I'm Jack too. You say that out loud in the shower, like when you're like getting pumped up, you're like, I'm Jack too. I'm Jack too.
Bring my head into the wall.
Is that what you did? I don't know.
No. And then there's even a video lesson that you had from like years ago. I mean, probably somewhere in the early thousands. That was like, be in your early 20s, be truly dedicated, and you will make $1 million. And I wrote that down on a note freshman year in college and just stuck it on my computer. And I mean, it worked out. I blindly followed that advice.
Let me be clear. Do not blindly follow that you think you're going to be a millionaire. Like these guys are crazy, obsessive, and dedicated in their studies. We're going to put a big disclaimer underneath this right now. Maybe this disclaimer will be up this entire video. I don't even know, because most traders lose. And I want people to realize that. The reason why, again, not because this is so hard, but because of lack of preparation, lack of patience, lack of great plays. Like, not all years are created equal. I like to bring up the year 536 or 539, where there was a giant dark cloud over most of Earth. All the crops failed. There was a giant famine. Half the world died. That was a bad year, but you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. People say, oh, 2020 is so tough. Come on. Look back at history where half the world is dying, not 0.000000001%. and you get to catch up on Netflix and you get your food delivered to you. We are not in the worst year ever, okay? Imagine and by the way, I don't know if you guys listen to this analogy, but like if you look up history from like the 530s to like 600, literally like 70, 80, 90 years, there was a global famine. Almost everyone died. Like it was just terrible weather for like a century. And that was just like the wrong life to be born into. It's not that you did anything bad. It's not like, oh, the world stinks. Like you're just in the wrong century. So we're in the right century now, and perspective, I think, matters. I think we're in like the best century where we have this technology you can learn. Back then, I mean, you couldn't even learn anything. There was no internet. There was no books. There was no widespread sharing. The most knowledge you could get would be somebody, your village next to you, and maybe they took like a horse to a town next door and they heard about some gossip and they think like that's their education. Like we have come so far with education. What do you guys see going forward? What do you think, Jack? What do you think like you're capable of now? I mean, you're still in grad school. What are you studying?
Quantitative finance.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. Even just saying it, I can't even like spell that. Are you going to go into like the hedge fund world?
Yeah, I've always wanted to see like the quant side of things in trading. I don't know if I really will, just because I mean, that's a whole nother learning curve, and it's all competitive with like these super insane engineers that just program all day. And
I would like you to go into like the quant offices and be like, yo, I made $1 million trading penny stocks, and like just see how many people laugh, or like see how long they laugh for, because like, and not just understand, like, we're not just making $1 million trading penny stocks, like riding any one play. I mean, your winning percentage, this was the number one question I asked people for questions for this interview. What is your winning percentage?
Well, on Profitly, it's about 50%, but I would say it's but that's like every single bad trade in the past. But I would say it's probably closer to 60 now, because I've gotten a lot more.
But 50 or 60% sucks. Okay, I can literally flip a coin and win 50% of the time. I don't need to dedicate years of studying. Like, look how I flip this coin. Ooh, I make it go heads. 50% of the time. Like, you don't need to study for that. What is the secret to growing an account with such a low winning percentage?
It is all about finding opportunities where the reward is going to be bigger than the risk. I like to say that you can balance out the probabilities of winning and losing as long as the risk reward is there. So, I mean, you could theoretically lose 75% of the time, but if your risk reward is always like 5 to 1 or 6 to 1, where you're going to make 6 as opposed to 1, then you're going to be profitable.
You are definitely a quant. Okay. To explain it the way that you just did, that is very, quanty of you. The reality is, in non-quantitative terms, yes, you can win more than you lose on a dollar basis, even if you win 50% of the time or even 30% of the time. What if your wins are 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and your losses are 100, 100, 100, or 200 or 300? And your wins, like you said, outweigh your losses by 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1. It's not just about winning all the time. And this is what penny stock promoters like to, twist people with, like these communities that have popped up where it's like, you have to win every time. And that's just not true. Matt, what's your winning percentage?
On Profitly, again, it's like probably roughly 50%, 51, 52, but that's every trade. And like, there was a period of time, like I was probably like a 10% winner when I was beginning.
When you're learning too, understand, like your winning percentage is going to change while you're learning. Like it's good. It's not a bad thing to lose. Like people are so petrified of losses. Like it's like, oh, I had a loss here. Oh, you failed. You suck. You lost. And it's like, no, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Like when you're testing a new strategy, you have to have those losses. You have to say, okay, wrong. Like, what was your biggest loss, Jack? 80,000 you said on OCGM?
Yeah, it was like 4 different trades in there.
And are you going to do that trade again?
Absolutely not.
Right? You remember that. Matt, what's your biggest loss so far?
CLWD. This was actually like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, $25,000 was, that's my biggest loss on one trade. Overstayed, yeah.
What?
And I just like, it's gonna bounce. I'll just get out into a bounce, and then it just kept dying, and then I lost 25 grand. It was dumb. I was just like refused to cut the loss. It's just a stupid mistake. Like I shouldn't have made. And
what made you eventually cut it?
Eventually I was just like, what am I doing? Like, this is just stupid. I need to get out of this trade. So then
How long did you hold it for?
it was probably only like 3 hours. Like I just had too big size and it just kept going against me. And it got really illiquid. It was that day it like really failed to break out really hard and then it started fading off. And after it like faded a little bit, I was like, it'll bounce. I'll just get out in the bounce. And it got super illiquid and people were clearly stuck. And I was one of them and it just kept fading. And then I just had to eat it.
We've seen this lately where a lot of like amazing runners like CLWD, SNPW, MJNA, all of these really went up further than we thought, and their bounces have been terrible. And like normally, like if you underestimate a play on the way up, then it comes down real quick. It's like, okay, I get a second chance with the bounce. And we're just not seeing these bounces a lot of the time. Why do you think that is, Matt?
I think I don't know. I think we went up for so long and that's what everyone was expecting. Even like dip buys recently, like if we rewind a month, like it was like a dip. If it dipped 10%, like a ton of buyers ran in, scooped it up, and then we'd get like a decent bounce. But like they were never like true panic dip buys. Yeah. So now like hopefully people are learning and it's going to stop happening. But like we'd get that like little 10% panic, people would buy. You want to get that quick bounce and then they were stuck and then it just keep fading. And it would just like, as it was fading, would just trap more and more people. So then any bounce at all when it came, like just got sold into. And then over the course of the day, I think they just got crushed.
I think that there's just so many traders right now that like, normally you have like a crystal clear lake. And if you skip, a rock across it, you can see the patterns very clearly. But if there's like 500 people trampling in the water and it's just all muddy. And I think that's kind of like what's happening. Like there's just so many traders. Like Jack, when you passed $1 million, we highlighted you and like pretty much the whole internet bowed down to you and you realized like, what's the attention been like just for the past few days?
It's been crazy, overwhelming, but like at the same time, I'm so happy just to like answer questions and help people out because it's one of those things where it's like it definitely helped me when I was getting started, having like a voice of clarity at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
So I mean,
we'll have you do a challenge webinar. You're not going to want to answer questions on social media. Matt Monaco early on when he got a lot of attention is like, yeah, ask me anything on Twitter. And now there's like 50 Matt Monacos on Twitter, and almost everyone is like getting scammed with these fake Matt Monacos buying Bitcoin. We don't endorse any shady crypto wallets. We don't manage anyone else's money. These are all imposters. If you see an imposter, look at the spelling very carefully. Block them. Jack too is probably going to have some imposters soon. You laugh, but it sucks. Yeah, like Matt is not laughing. Matt's like, remember the good old days where you're like, yeah, just tweet at me some questions on Twitter.
Exactly. Now every day there's like 5 new ones.
It's unfortunate, but that's part of this bubble. Jack, what are your plans to celebrate?
I mean, I went out to dinner last night, just got some Italian.
Wait, you went out to dinner? No, what? Wait, did you order a side dish too?
2 apps.
Oh, 2 apps, 2. Why are all my millionaire students so humble that they really like, you're so focused on like, I love it. I understand that. But like when you pass a big milestone, you said like you can breathe again. Weight has been lifted off your shoulders. And now, I mean, what, you're ordering an extra crab cake?
Well, the biggest thing for me was trading was a means to like just having a freedom and not having to constantly worry about expenses. So, I mean, yeah, it's funny that I got 2 apps, but it's like, could get.
What were your appetizers? Give me a visual.
A salad and fried eggplant.
So the fried eggplant is the bonus, your 7-figure bonus. Normally you wouldn't do that, but be like, yo, what is the fried eggplant? It's like an extra like $6.95, and now you can afford it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when Tim Bertani was profiting the most, he went out for like pizza, and he had like mellow mushroom pizza or something like that. So, what did you do, Matt, to celebrate?
You were in town at the time, and we went out to dinner together that night. We went to a steakhouse.
We didn't just order 1 extra app though. We ordered the whole menu. So
yeah, well, you were in charge of ordering, so it was a little different.
me, whatever. This is why I wear dark colors. You guys are young. Shut up. Whatever. We all have to take whatever enjoyment we can out of life. I like food. Don't hate me. No, but I mean, what's the plan now, Jack? Like, are you just going to keep trading? You're going to keep studying? How many more years of school do you have?
I'll be finished in December 2021. And the plan is to really just keep building my portfolio and then diversify into just other sectors and assets. And hopefully I can just live off just cash flow.
Yeah, right. I mean, you started with 2 grand. Was it your money? Did your parents loan it to you?
That was the money that I've been like kind of just saving up all my life in like a savings account. And so for like the first 18 years, and then I just cut the account in half and use that to trade.
So 18 years, you saved up 4 grand and you used 2 grand to trade.
Just about.
I don't know what that rate of return is for 18 years and 4 grand, but it's not good.
Really bad when I bled that $2,000 account away.
Were you, I mean, what did your parents say in the beginning?
Well, my dad had he's like, hey, look, what are you going to do if it all goes wrong? I said, I mean, if I fail, he's like, no, stop you right there. There's no failing. There's just walking away. I'm like, okay, yeah, exactly. I mean, I admit I was wrong and I'd learned from it and get back in the game.
What does he say now?
He's very proud of me.
Have you told him? Did you tell him like right when you went over 1 million, or was it just gradual?
Yeah, no, I never really even shared a penny of information with them. And then the other day I was like, hey, Mom, I'm a millionaire.
You did not.
Like, what?
They had no idea how you were doing this whole time?
No. They thought I was just, since like March 2020, they thought I was just hanging out in the basement at the time because it was before I moved into my apartment for school.
They're like, oh, well, he's just probably playing video games. At least he's not into drugs. And little do they know what you're like doing down there.
Yeah, I'll just be like smacking my keyboard for the hotkeys.
Right? Wait, what did your mom say when you were like, hey, Mom, I'm a millionaire?
She was starstruck, and I mean, I couldn't have been more blessed for my mom because she has just been so supportive. Like, she didn't even know what I was doing, but she's like, I'm so proud of how hard you work, even if like you're not making any money.
No, that's what it is. It's the work ethic, and then using that work ethic and then utilizing the lessons to really see what you can do. Matt, what were your parents like? I don't even know if I've asked you this.
No, they were very supportive. They actually helped me in the beginning. Well, my dad was like, he was never a trader, but he dabbled in stocks. So like he kind of understood, he wasn't profitable or anything, but I know like, especially when he was my age, he tells the story. He was like invested in Marvel, but then they like went bankrupt and he lost all his money, but then like Disney bought him. Like I've heard that story several times. Yeah. So like, he's like familiar with the game, and he was the one who helped me pay for the challenge. So like my trading account, like I used was my own funds, but like to get into the program and all the education, my parents helped me out with. So they were very supportive, and like they asked questions along the way. And obviously like it faded off a little bit. Like they were still supportive. It's just like after like 2 years, I wasn't like doing anything. Like I wasn't like making money.
They don't want to like rub it in. They're like, just let him learn.
They were just letting me do my thing, and I was still working on it. But then like this past year, especially because I moved home again from college because of COVID, we all went like online. And I was like, that's when I like started taking off. And then like my dad, like now he's into trading. I think he's like kind of profitable now. He still does some newbie mistakes. So if he's watching this, it's probably funny. He is like, damn, I know he's got the classic.
Burner.
Yeah, I know. But like we talk every day and he trades. And yeah, he's super into it. My brother's kind of getting into it. I have a younger brother. He's 18 now.
Did you tell them? Did you call them up when you passed 1 million or no?
They were aware. Just because like they follow me on social media and stuff. So like when the announcement came out, like they knew pretty quickly. But yeah, they were super pumped, super excited.
Jack's parents had no idea. You literally, I mean, just walk me through that phone call, because I'm amused by this. Like you call her up like, hey Mom, how's it going? By the way.
No, so they actually we're in the same part of town. So I just drove over to my house that I grew up in.
Oh, you told them in person. That's even better.
And that was because that's where I have to keep my cat, because he's an outdoor cat. So I've been making a joke where I'm like, I'm gonna make enough money so I can buy a house and take him back. But
nice. Now you can. Are you gonna do that?
I gotta find a way. I gotta get it.
Just sticking with the fried egg plan for now. Take it step by step. You still gotta pay taxes, like
Yeah, I talk to accountants and all that.
Literally none of the top students are like spending the money. Matt, have you spent any of your money? Although I know you're looking for a house and now your budget went up.
Yeah, after my record week, it went up a little bit, but
I mean, you just like had like 2 or 3 houses in like a week.
yeah, I'm looking for a house, but I'm just waiting on my taxes. I don't know. So my theory with why your students don't spend any money is most of your students, it took like years. So like they like cherish it. Like this is my precious, you know?
Yeah, precious.
Exactly.
And that's how it should be. And this is why I encourage people, like, people are like, if you offered them a choice, like, would you like to make $1 million overnight? Or would you like to grind and slave away and be frustrated and be on the verge of quitting and be in tears and have the whole world hating on you and you missing out on life for 2, 3, 4 years and then you make some money? Most people will be like, why would I want all that struggle? Like, what? No, give me the money. But it's that struggle that keeps you, so even keeled. Like Jack, I mean, just talking to you when you cross $1 million, I wish I had had this community. I wish I had this kind of mindset when I first passed $1 million, because I was the opposite. I was like, look at me, I could do anything. Screw all of you. I made $1 million. You made nothing. I'm the best. You're the worst. And you guys just don't have that because you slaved away, you grinded. And I'm jealous because I made basically my first $1 million in like a year and a half, because I got started back in 99 and 2000 during a bubble. So I worry about people who make money the wrong way and they make it too quickly because, there's a saying, a fool and his money are quickly parted. And with you guys, you've slaved away, you've seen the losses, you see how hard it was to get the knowledge, to wait for this hot market. We don't know how long this hot market is. So like, it's a whole perspective. It's not just about the money. And it's tough to talk about because money blinds most people. It's just like, yeah, you made $1 million. Okay. But there's different ways of making that. And the way that both of you guys did, even though you're both young, in college, or Matt just graduated college last year, do you think having the right perspective helps? You tell me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's just like what you said. I don't want to spend any money because one, I have to pay taxes, but two, it's like I went through all those like horrible nights, especially when I did blow up, had my first real blow up. And I mean, there's nothing you can do other than sometimes you sit on your bed like, oh, what am I doing with myself? So I mean, all of those emotions are attached to it now. So yeah, it's my baby.
No, that's good. And that's how it should be. And you keep growing your baby and you learn from those mistakes. Like some people are like, oh, when you have a bad day, just brush it off, like forget about it. No, like you should remember those bad days, remember the downs so that you can properly have the perspective for the ups and you celebrate the ups. And I mean, I'm grateful for the ups and the downs, and I'm grateful for dedicated students. Before we go, one last tip from each of you. What should people be doing right now in 2021 in this kind of crazy market? How can they maximize this?
I think it is going to be more crucial than ever to, whenever you take a trade, think of every single way that it can go wrong, because there will be a market environment where those will happen and they will happen on repeat. And if you're not prepared for that, you'll begin thinking that it's you that's the problem in the market. It's not the market, because we're only going to be able to make what the market gives us.
So think about worst case scenario potentially. In
Yeah.
that way, you're protected. I mean, I often say, like expect the worst and you're never disappointed. This is a quantitative way of saying it, in a much better way. Just following up on that, why do you think most people don't consider the risks and the losses? Like I say 90% of traders lose. I say, like, look at the industry stats. Like I personally have lost $500,000 on a trade before. It was terrible. Why do you think people are like blinded by greed? Is it just greed? Is that what blinds?
Absolutely. We just sometimes see dollar signs. We say, "Oh, if I put 100,000 into this trade and make 50%, that's a year's salary." And
But
people
they don't think about what if you put in 100 grand and let's say you're a short seller and you lose 300 grand. Now you've lost 6 years salary.
gets jams and it halts up, and like, oh no.
Are you going to go more long now or are you like shorting? Which do you prefer?
It depends what the market's giving me. I actually have my eyes on a long, and I alerted in checks. I'm like, oh wow, this I had a breakout alert trigger, because there were a couple nights where I just went through my whole broad scanner, which was like 600 charts,
Yeah.
just setting alerts for everything. And I think it's going to be a pretty good long in the coming weeks.
That's dangerous when a short seller sees a long. I'm scared. I don't even want to know. Okay. You know, how do you do your watch list every night? Just out of curiosity.
Well, a lot of my strategy does involve like finding the range and the gap ups. So a lot of my watch list does happen in the morning. And then I'll sort of dabble in the financial side with like if there's any dilution or shares that are going to be sold to the public. And then on top of that, just keeping the big percent gainers and multi-day runners in my watch list. I probably have about 4 different watch lists going on, each with like 50 to 80 tickers.
It's a little overwhelming right now.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be like this. I mean, how did you spot RC? What was it? RCMT. That was one of your big winners.
Yeah, it was a very big gapper and it was meeting volume and liquidity requirements. So I just kept it on my watch list. And as it started coming back up through VWAP, it started going parabolic in the pre-market session. So by the time that the market opened, it was a little oversaturated, and then it had a big slam down, and then it's game time.
So when did you short it?
I dabbled into the morning spike because I love to risk high a day because I think that's a very good inflection point. And this is where I'll say like, if it's gonna break out past high a day, I'll just stop out, even if it's like a fake high a day. Because I mean, with market makers, it's so unpredictable. I'd rather just eat the loss and get back in because if it's going to fade, there's going
Yeah.
to be a lot more range to capture. There's no
Yeah.
need to break my back for.
So you're
Yeah.
shorting the morning spikes, then you're looking for that hard crack to really add to your position.
Yes, when momentum snaps and the oversaturated longs, they become sellers. So they'll actually help my position go down.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever try to dip buy the big crashes afterwards or no?
Only multi-day runners. Yes.
Okay.
Those are the ones where there's so much support in the stock that if it has a nasty 30, 40% drop per se, there's going to be buyers coming in because it's had such a history of spiking and longs are going to get attached to it for holding all that time. And
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a great price.
What do you think about all these people where they're just like there's like a whole anti-short selling movement? What do you think about this?
I'm not a bad person. Some people would argue that I neutralize the market, right?
I mean, for me, I've made millions going long. I made millions going short. I don't currently short just because I trade in order to teach. And I think that shorting is very dangerous for newbies. You know, you've been doing this a while. You've had the big losses. So theoretically, you're prepared. But just remember, any one of these shorts can just keep going. Okay. Like you might not just get like a little tap of 50 cents a share higher on like a high of the day. I mean, it might get halted and it might just double against you. So be careful.
Absolutely.
That's my warning for short selling. But at the same time, short selling, longs, it's all liquidity in the market. You know, there's a lot of BS out there. There's like a lot of mob mentality. And frankly, short sellers are scared. I mean, they should be after GameStop. Were you shorting GameStop at all?
No, I couldn't even get borrows. It was on SEC short restrictions. So
Yeah. What about KOSS or AMC?
Yeah, KOSS was a pretty good one.
You made money on long and short.
Like every day for like 4 days on KOSS.
Wait, so you're telling me traders can make money on both sides? This is strange. This is fascinating. I want to explore that more. No, good idea. Matt, what is one tip that you have for people right now?
I'd say 2021, there's never been like a better time to learn because I think right now you can learn a lot faster than any of your other previous students because like, I mean, I've only been in it for 4 years and I can't compare it to the dot-com boom, but like over those 4 years, we had like several sector runs and it seems like the end of 2020 into 2021, we've had like the same number of sector runs in like 4 months as we did in 4 years. So
Yeah.
just the number of plays that you can learn from right now it can be overwhelming, but try to digest it because there's so many plays out there that you can learn from. It wouldn't surprise me if someone is able to pick it up a lot quicker because like there's just so many more examples of like a breakout or a really good morning spike that you can short into or a dip buy and that's how I learned. I learned from just watching it enough times. And because there's so many plays to watch right now, like that repetition is how you're going to be able to learn.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. We have many more traders and many more tools now, right? Like stocks to trade,
Yeah.
breaking news. I mean, small
point.
cap rockets. There's so much opportunity to really compress your learning. Like I don't think you have to necessarily, grind and hustle for 3-4 years like you used to, at least not right now. Right now, everything is like sped up, right? Like if this were like a Christopher Nolan movie, like we're Tenet, where like everything's backwards. This is like a sped up version of Tenet. And Tenet was, I don't know if you guys saw it. It was not a well done movie. I'm disappointed. Did you like that, Jack? Did you watch that?
No.
Yeah. I mean, anyways, it's the reason why I bring up Tenet is because time moves differently in that movie. And I think right now time is moving differently in the stock market. Like, Jack, I mean, what were you at? I mean, we're filming this February 20th, 2021. What was your account size February 20th, 2020?
About 20,000.
And I didn't even know it was that low. I thought it was going to be 50 or 100,000. So this is literally all happened in a year. Now, like you're having $100,000 days. Disclaimer below this video, most traders do not grow their accounts from 2,000 to 20,000 to $1 million in like a few years. Most traders don't make any money whatsoever. So I want everyone to be very clear. But if you find a pattern in, like you said with KOSS, where you were shorting it every day for a few days?
Oh yeah. After GameStop cracked and KOSS initiated the backside, I mean, it's just some very stress-free trading if you're going short into a pop because everything's being sold into.
So for me, I use that same kind of mentality with TSNP on the backside, dip buying the crashes. I mean, I might have dip bought it, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 mornings in a row. And even the one morning that I didn't, I probably should have, because like the same morning panic pattern and the bounce happened. Like it's crazy when you get in a groove, when the market is hot, whether it's going long, whether it's going short, whether it's a higher price play like KOSS or a lower price play TSNP, you find what works for you. And, I'm proud that you have found it. Congratulations on being a moderator in the challenge chat. How does that feel?
Thank you. I have been, it's weird. It was like one of those things that like I was like, man, maybe one day I can be a moderator. Maybe one day I can give like a challenge webinar. And like, that's all what I thought about. Like when I started, like I could do something great and then give back.
I love it. And that's what this is about. Like, I want everyone watching this understand we're proud of Jack for him making $1 million, but we're prouder of the fact, the way that he's handling it, the way that he has made his money, like, grinding, hustling, studying hard, not being lazy, not like going all in on some crypto runner, which is very dangerous. I would be very careful. Disclaimer, if you ever trade any crypto runner or any runner, you can lose a lot or all of your money very quickly. But no, I want you to give a challenge webinar when you're free, maybe next week. Are you free next week?
Yeah, absolutely. Towards the end of the week, I got a couple midterms on Tuesday.
Focus on your midterms. We can do it 2 weeks from now. I know since you're quantitative, you probably want to build a whole presentation in like a model, right?
I can do it.
Do it. Let's put your college degree to use for something, right? Like this isn't what your college degree is for. No, but in the next few weeks, we'd love to have you do one. And I'm so grateful that you want to teach and pay it forward and help the community. That's what we're all about. We're all literally just a bunch of glorified nerds who love studying and learning from what works and learning from what doesn't work. So keep up with your 50% winning percentage. It's amazing that you can do this. Keep cutting losses quickly, and congratulations. We'll meet each other in person shortly, and we'll figure something out to celebrate with more than just fried eggplant.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me do this interview.
No, our pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.